Watch Business Files this and every Thursday evening at 9 o'clock with Michael Archibald. Your weekly business appointment is on MTV Primetime. Now there's another good reason to make MTV your station of choice in primetime.
Pain and sacrifice. According to Prime Minister Dr. Keith Mitchell, this will be the hallmark for 2014 for this country. Welcome to Business Files. I am Michael Archibald, and this week's edition starts right now.
Everyone knows the game on the island. The national lotteries have it going on. Just value your dreams, you'll win today. The game as we know is called Playway. It's daily Monday to Saturday, both evenings and midday is Playway. That is when the game play. Choose your numbers or your symbols from 1 to 36 to win. Playway. That is how the game play. Sack it and follow up. Just follow your dreams. Stick to your hunch. Bet from $1 to any amount to win Playway. The game of the day. Aired on GBN TV and radio. National Lotteries. Supporting sports, culture, and nation building.
At the Marketing and National Importing Board, our wide range of fruits and vegetables comes with the highest quality assurance from local farmers that we know and trust and have built a solid relationship with over the years. At the MNIB, we are confident that we are offering you the best option for healthy, tasty, and nutritious fruits and vegetables at the most competitive prices, produced right here in Grenada by our local farmers. We offer the widest range of locally made agro products like spices, sauces, jams and jellies, and confectionery, just to mention a few. The MNIB, looking after our nation's food and nutrition security, promoting healthy lifestyles and the development of the new economy.
Why wish upon a star? For a bank is better by far. Whatever you're wishing for this Christmas, will give you low interest and no fuss. A new kitchen to cook in, Christmas wishes come true. With Go Bank and you, buy home your clothes and skin. Christmas wishes come true. With Go Bank and you, fix up your home real nice. Go Bank, have a feast with plenty spice.
This for friends and family.
Christmas wishes come true. With Go Bank and you,
I get away, a shopping spree.
Christmas wishes come true. With Go Bank and you.
Get a Christmas loan from Co-op Bank.
Welcome home.
Business Files is brought to you by Fast Cash. Fast Cash, making it easy to access money to meet your immediate needs. Same-day approval. Money in your hands within 2 hours from returning documents. Fast Cash, your money, your way. Serving you from Melville Street, St. George's, opposite the bus terminal, and Ben Jones Street, Grenville, upstairs Lime. Coming soon to Fast Cash. Fast Cash Biz. Smart loans for your business. Visit us on www.fastcash.dm.
Here's producer Calistro Faria with reactions immediately after the presentation of this year's budget.
The response immediately following the presentation of the 2014 budget by Prime Minister Dr. Keith Mitchell was colorful and swift. As was expected, the personal income tax threshold was lowered, along with a new levy on idle agricultural lands of 2.2%, a 5% levy on stayover visitors, and changes in the VAT rebate system for manufacturers from 5% up to 10%. Senator Raymond Roberts, who appears later on the program in a full interview, had this to say about the increase in taxes that now includes people earning as low as $3,000 per month.
2014 for workers in Grenada going to be one of groan and pain. The medication of the taxes are more severe than any medication for cancer or any of the most horrifying diseases you can think about. we have done our research from a trade union perspective. Let's take a family, a work-off, husband and wife working private sector, middle management, over. Together, some of them will lose $300, $400, $500, $600, even up to $1,000, $1,400. Where is that going to come from? Upon that, you have property tax double, and all other taxes you have increasing. So really and truly, I see no other way out in 2014 than one that is of the greatest severity for workers. It's going to be, as far as I'm concerned, worse than the period after Ivan. Ivan, you had your family sending barrels for you. There's no free barrel anymore. So really and truly, I take no comfort in the measures. And I pray God that the reality that the Prime Minister spoke about, projects and jobs and deliverance, will all manifest themselves 100% and maybe quadruple it.
And who is the NNP's painful package of taxation expected to affect? Robert says they've done the math in the labour movement, and come January, even those not caught in the widened tax net will feel the pinch of structural reform. And then there was former Finance Minister Nazim Burke.
Well, the overall, I'm not impressed. And I'm not impressed because I'm not surprised.
Business Files was not quite sure what to make of his response to a budget that, but for his mistakes, might have been his job to present. But even now, 9 months after losing his seat in the general elections and his job as Finance Minister, the now Senator Burke seems still short on details about how to grow the economy.
I can't tell you that. I mean, I don't have the numbers. Why would you ask me what I would have included? I have to be working with the numbers. I have to be working with the circumstances. I'm not talking to the unpaid claims persons. I cannot tell you that. Let's be real. Yeah. No, I cannot say how drastically it has changed, but I'm saying I'm not working with the numbers. You know, if I've not practiced medicine for 5 years, you can't ask me what I will do with a patient if I don't know the patient's circumstances. Yeah? I don't know the patient's circumstances. So let's be real. Yes? I'm saying to you, I cannot sit here and tell you what are all the things I would have done. I'm not working with the numbers. I'm not working with the people. I don't have the information. The person you have to ask that is the person who gave the statement.
But Prime Minister Dr. Keith Mitchell is hoping that promised investments in the tourism industry and Grenada's energy prospects, along with an ambitious $280 million debt relief package, will save the day.
Anytime you're taking money from people, you have to be concerned. So you heard when I started to introduce the measure, I talk about how it pains me to do it. But if you notice, we were talking about having done that, the sacrifice. Look at what's available to you. In other words, in life, if we concentrate when we have a difficulty on just the problem, and we forget to look at the opportunities, then we put ourselves in a difficult spot. So yes, there is pain, but here are opportunities. Let's go for it. So
we asked the Prime Minister for his thoughts on concerns that more taxes could see the creation of a new working poor.
If all you're talking about is what the sacrifice is. But if the same person decide, look, there's a small business loan there, let me go and take a loan and set up a little service, there's opportunity. Somebody in a family might be working, might have a certain skills. The construction jobs coming. They might be able to provide a service in the construction field. I don't know, in various areas, not just one area. They might have young children in the family looking for jobs with a tremendous amount of jobs coming. They have to go and search for the opportunities. So yes, if you're just looking at those persons who are salaried and having to make a sacrifice, you are right. But you have to also examine the potential opportunities, which is what a budget is all about. Pain, yes, in some cases, but opportunities. And that we're saying people must now go for the opportunities. When the hotels come, who are going to be employed in the hotels? You're talking 4, 5, 5-star hotels. You're talking at least 3,000 jobs. Now the opportunities. Some of these people, even when Antigua was booming in the hotel industry, many teachers used to go and work in the hotels in the night and do 4 or 5 hours work and make sizable amount of money. Some policemen used to work providing additional security services to private people. So they were not relying on the police salary per se, only by themselves. So I think this is what one has to look at. So if you just talk about yes, we're asking people to make sacrifices. We have no choice, because if we don't do it, the alternative is if we don't do it, then the country is in real bad shape. Because
Prime Minister Dr. Keith Mitchell and I'm Calistro Faria. This is Business Files, brought to you by the National Lottery Authority and the Marketing and National Importing Board. When we come back, host Michael Archibald sits down with Senator Ray Roberts and later on Keith Ashby to discuss details of Budget 2014.
Everyone knows the game on the island. The national lotteries have it going on. Just value your dreams, you'll win today. The game as we know is called Playway. It's daily Monday to Saturday, both evenings and midday is Playway. That is when the game play. Choose your numbers or your symbols from 1 to 36 to win. Playway. That is how the game play. Sack it and follow up. Just follow your dreams. Stick to your hunch. Bet from $1 to any amount to win Playway. The game of the day. Aired on GBN TV and radio. National Lotteries. Supporting sports, culture and nation building.
At the Marketing and National Importing Board, our wide range of fruits and vegetables comes with the highest quality assurance from local farmers that we know and trust and have built a solid relationship with over the years. At the MNIB, we are confident that we are offering you the best option for healthy, tasty, and nutritious fruits and vegetables at the most competitive prices, produced right here in Grenada by our local farmers. We offer the widest range of locally made agro products like spices, sauces, jams and jellies, and confectionery, just to mention a few. The MNIB, looking after our nation's food and nutrition security, promoting healthy lifestyles and the development of the new economy.
This is Business Files, and I'm your host, Michael Archibald. We are very pleased this week to welcome on the set and into your living rooms and bars, as we like to say, Senator Ray Roberts. As you would know, Senator Roberts represents Labor in the Senate and is a stalwart in the trade union movement. Senator, welcome to Business Files.
Good to meet you, my dear friend, and all the best for the season to you and your staff.
All the best for the season, because we are looking into a very difficult 2014.
I couldn't think of a more difficult one in the many years that I've been here. I'm one of those born in the 50s. And as far as I'm concerned, 2014 looks like a year, as I said to other media people, certainly of pain and groan. I don't see anything else other than pain and groan.
Pain and groan.
That is correct.
All right. Before we get into the specifics, the Prime Minister spent about 2 hours on Tuesday outlining his budget for 2014. What is your first impression, your overall impression, before we get into the specifics, to the budget?
Well, let's give him credit for his oratory skills. There's no question about it. He used it with the technology. As far as I'm concerned, he would have gotten an A for his presentation. Not the content, the presentation. I think it's great therapy for a temporary period in your life, because wonderful ideas and concept about jobs and jobs and jobs and jobs. But I think in the trade union rational mind, we really know that it is going to be a very difficult period. I mean, this is not just Grenada. It is not even the Caribbean. It is the
entire
Western world.
All right. The budget seemed to me to be, I haven't had a chance to completely read it, but there are 3 or 4 specific areas. One is revenue enhancement, which is the new tax measures, which I know you're going to speak about. The other part is, one of the other parts is the controlling of expenditure. Then we have the discussion about growth and economic growth and whether we would get that or not. And all of this is going to help us, or supposed to help us, with reducing our debt and enhancing our lifestyles. Let's look at first the revenue enhancement measures. You have the lowering of the threshold, which you have spoken quite a bit about that, and you have some increases in fees. Let's talk about the tax measures a little bit.
Great. Well, the only one you have control over is expenditure.
Yes.
You could determine you want to eat ham today or you want to eat eggs. Which one is cheaper? You don't have control over the other measures. I could determine right now that I'm not going to work anymore because the taxes are too much, so I become an idle and you lose out on me. So we in the trade union movement, we have to admit there's absolutely perhaps very little choice and no choice whatsoever other than some new tax measures. I mean, you in numbers, that's your whole life. A country with 2.5 billion debt, which works out to approximately 25,000 for every living Grenadian. There's no way the investment in the country by itself without taxes can take care of that. So we want to agree that we are in crisis, great crisis, worse than Hurricane after Hurricane Irma. So we're going to go with that. What bothers me in the midst of all that, and it bothers a lot of us in the trade union movement, is that we have the severity of the taxes that's going to drive a huge number of people to the poverty line. Now, recall in 1995, the trade union movement, we were fundamentally opposed to this threshold. We felt
which threshold?
the 60,000. The 60,000, yeah.
The trade union movement was against it.
Precisely, we presented at the old Grand Beach, I think it was Grenada Beach Hotel in 1995. We met with all the parties, including Dr. Mitchell, George Brizan, everybody was there. We did a forum and and we presented at Sister Clara's Child. And we argued that consequences down the line were going to be like what we are in
consequences
right
are now.
Precisely. And I
But
reminded
we
him of
did,
it this
we
week.
did enjoy a period as Grenadians of a very high threshold for whatever that period was up to now, which was better than most other islands in the OECS. So now, as you're saying, now the consequences are catching up with us,
Yes.
and it is now being reduced. You have the reduction to 3%. I heard you mention that you thought that something could have been applied to people below that threshold.
Correct. You see, to me, George Brizan, the late George Brizan, perhaps he had the most wisdom of all our leaders in recent times. A year before the elections, he had this whole thing, or 2 years, and the whole nation paid a 3% or 5% levy. To me, what the government should have done, I know it's a political risk, I'm not in the business, but I know you win votes by telling people what they like to hear. I think, to me, the threshold, that is 15%, could have been reduced to me to about 9 or 8%.
For
and
who?
Spread that middle group.
Reduce the 15% in that middle group.
That's correct.
The over 3,000.
Precisely.
And then add on something at the ones below.
Precisely. Have a three-tier.
Rather than two.
Yeah, so maybe those making 1,500 and under, you ask them to give something back to the nation. No more than 3 years. When that 3 years up, you cut it out. So they asked to give a 3%, which is 3 cents on every dollar. That's not going to be it's going to be a sacrifice. But this is Grenada. To me, 1,500 to 2,000, you ask them maybe to give 4%. And then as you go up, those of us who earn more pay a little more. But let me look. A permanent secretary or a manager in Grenada who makes $8,000. And we have done some calculations, our workers, husband and wife together, and you in the business of banking, you know sometimes you and your spouse income are joined together to meet the expense. Now, if you're making $8,000 as a manager, you and your spouse, you lose $2,400 a month. Now, you didn't have a year warning. Yeah, it's in taxes. That is it here. You look at it here, it's $2,400. Look at it here, $8,000.
But you would have been paying something before. So
Yeah.
the question really is the difference between the 2004 now and what you are paying
Well,
before.
that is correct. That is correct.
Yeah.
But all
So-
together,
But you're not getting a sudden 2,000, it's 1,002.
Yeah.
You're not getting a sudden 1,002. Is the difference between what you're paying before.
We quite agree that,
Yeah.
but it's all add up to that both of you together will now lose $1,200. Now, where are you going to regain this? Your daughter is in college. In fact, there's a friend of ours in the trade union movement. She said to us, I sent $500 to my daughter. She's concluding her master's in 4 months' time, you know, by Easter. And that is to meet the monthly expenses. Now, here's a notice that January, you now have to pay these taxes. So it is drastic.
What would you suggest? You make one suggestion, which was those under, to spread it about, those under 3,000 pay a lower amount, and then a reduction in those over 3,000 from the 15%. Any other recommendations or suggestions?
Well, we had suggested a Robin Hood tax as one of the things, but taxes alone by itself, you know, can't solve this thing. It can't solve this
No,
thing.
we're going to talk about the rest, but
yeah.
right now we're talking about those revenue enhancement measures.
Well, let me put it this way. We believe the government should have bite the bullet and have this program over a longer period. This 3-year thing is really, we felt it might have been better for maybe a 4-year or 5-year program. We're in the social partners. We thought that would have been a better thing. Maybe the pain would have been less. But again, we're not running for office, and we realized 2017, 2018
It's election time.
That's correct. And I mean, you will be hanging yourself. But then again, that is what we need, statesmanship. If that be the case, so be it.
But many, I don't like to go back and talk about the past too much. I like to look forward. But many economists have said to me that this thing should have been done from before. And the fact that the government or governments took so long is has made it the steps worse.
Correct.
I, for one, believe.
But you know, this is not the first one.
No.
The IMF will tell you, when we met with the IMF, 2006 to 2008, the Grenada government was not sincere with the IMF with its program. They came with this homemade thing, and you know,
But when you
it
say
took
not
2 years.
sincere-
Well, well, let's put it like that. We defaulted on so many
Yeah,
things.
we defaulted.
So we weren't sincere to what we said we would have
We
done.
didn't do what we said we were going to do.
We were not sincere. That is basically the words that.
But sincere though means that you deliberately lied. And there's
I-
another part where you set up and you didn't meet it.
Okay.
So let's
All right, well, let's nice it up. We are diplomats. So it took 2 years before they invited the IMF to come back. And really and truly, I mean, so we really have a credibility problem as a country.
All right. There are some other measures. You talk an increase in some fees. Now, I personally believe those fees are too low. They have always
Well,
been
no,
too
no,
low.
no.
The problem, though, is that they come in at the same time as the tax fees, but the fees really are too low.
I wouldn't argue that one. In fact, I can understand why you want to set up a whole office for I pay $5 for a bird paper.
Yeah.
To me, a bird paper should be, I mean, not right now, but if it is right now, should have been always about 25 to $50.
Yeah, it's too low.
I really don't understand why you pay $100 for a passport, because it's not every day you're going to get a passport. So I agree with you on the fees. The problem is the fees have come all
at the same
together.
time. Yeah.
And I want to share with you one other thing. Most of the unions run scholarship programs, and we have 300, maybe 400 people applying. Now, some of these people are in the tax income. When you look at what perhaps will happen to them now, they were already going home with $50. The tax man is going to take his first. So you're going to go to the bank now with either a deficit or the credit union. One credit union chief who I spoke to said they have started to make adjustment because a number of people will show up with deficit salaries because the tax man will have already taken the same one. So I'm saying, for me, I would have liked to see a more holistic approach to this whole thing. Yes, the government has interacted with social partners, but I don't think we did any analysis. I mean, if we did any analysis of all the taxes.
Who didn't do the analysis?
The state, obviously, the state didn't do any analysis. It's really, as usual.
But there was a lot of interaction between the state and the social partners.
Yeah,
and
but
the trade.
none of that I'm talking about. Look at use your human resource department to see what this will have on human beings, individuals.
But didn't that come up in the interaction? Though?
Well, I guess it is something we
Because
have talked about.
if you're presenting a case, but be it the consular churches, be it one would assume that they would present that same case that you're just saying here.
Well, let's put it this way. Those things that spoken about, they're not acted upon.
Oh, so they were presented.
Well, let's put it this way. We spoke about it, and as gentlemen and ladies, the gravity of the situation is what, let's put it this way. The gravity of the situation, And that to me was perhaps the most disappointing part of the budget. I thought the Prime Minister should have spent a lot more time to let people know, look, this is what we did to ourselves as leaders, as people. We had good times, as you say. A lot of it accumulated, ended up in zero. For example, the stadium, $167 million, Ivan blew it away. We don't have it, we have to pay for it. So we did enjoy the pleasure of the athletics and the cricket in it, but Ivan took it away, and those are money we still pay.
We still have to pay for it.
That's correct.
But they spent a lot of time in the last 6 months, 4 months, talking about the gravity of the situation and the fact that we will have to take some severe measures.
People don't know what these measures are for. Actually, people still want to know, people don't understand we're paying back for
what we're
the
paying
Garden
for.
Group,
Okay.
which is a gamble. People don't understand that we're paying back for Livera. Ritz-Carlton, we turned this on about 50 times. I eat a couple sandwiches there, and there's no Ritz-Carlton still. And we're paying back Mr. Miller, who is not a Grenadian, who doesn't even know. We paid him 12 million, or we have paid him 12 million already. So I think we needed a bit of cleansing as a people, as leaders too. Prime Minister right down, admitting I have sinned. I did a lot of confession when I was a little boy. I would admit these days I don't go. But I felt good after, because the priest said to me,
Yeah.
and it helped me. Right now, it's, I remember once the priest said to me, I stole some mangoes and something, and he calls, he says, Ray, you did that? He said, the Lord is watching you, Ray. Up to today, I'm talking about 50 years ago, those words are in my head.
All right. So in addition to the cleansing that you would have preferred, the fundamental position of the labor movement, they're not fundamentally opposed to the increases that the government has been talking about. But they would have preferred if it was spread over a longer time. I'm trying to wrap it into...
Well, let's put it this way. There is never going to be a conclusion on this among workers, because they are hurting.
Yes.
But I would want to agree with you that
but something has
the
to be done.
leaders have, we have agreed, and as I'm saying we, because it's a collective thing, that support the $3,500, the $3,000 a month. We have supported, but as I said to you, I wish there was a greater dialogue and research that could present a case that we have really penalized some people much too much. I met a woman in church 3 Sundays ago, and she said to me, Ray, I'm too old to get into the oldest profession. I wouldn't get any clients. She said, I still have my house.
Let's hope she's not forced to do that.
No, well, she can't. She's my age. So there will be no clients. I don't know about you, but I mean, there'll be no clients. So we have to admit, we have to pray. Let's face it this way, and I don't want to ignore that part. The fact that the Prime Minister have highlighted so many job opportunities, I hope we can pray that, as much as possible, even 90%, 70% become a reality. Because without that,
well, that's what I wanted to get into. The revenue enhancement was one aspect, and he talked a lot about economic growth. What is your reaction to some of what it was spoken about with regard to getting growth, which was supposed to balance off the revenue enhancement measures on the other end? But before you go into that, let's take a short break. Great.
Everyone knows the game on the island. The national lotteries have it going on. Just value your dreams, you'll win today. The game, as we know, is called Playway. It's daily Monday to Saturday, both evenings and midday is Playway. That is when the game play. Choose your numbers or your symbols from 1 to 36 to win Playway. That is how the game play. Sack it and follow up. Just follow your dreams, stick to your hunch. Bet from $1 to any amount to win Playway. The game of the day, aired on GBN TV and radio. National Lotteries, supporting sports, culture and nation building.
At At the Marketing and National Importing Board, our wide range of fruits and vegetables comes with the highest quality assurance from local farmers that we know and trust and have built a solid relationship with over the years. At the MNIB, we are confident that we are offering you the best option for healthy, tasty, and nutritious fruits and vegetables at the most competitive prices. Produced right here in Grenada by our local farmers. We offer the widest range of locally made agro products like spices, sauces, jams and jellies, and confectionery, just to mention a few. The MNIB, looking after our nation's food and nutrition security, promoting healthy lifestyles and the development of the new economy.
Welcome back to Business Files. We have been speaking to Senator Ray Roberts, who represents Labour in the Senate, and we have been discussing the recently presented budget. But later on in the program, Entrepreneur Keith Ashby, he will be with us, and he'll be weighing on what existing businesses and their reaction to the budget. Mr. Ashby claims that businesses are struggling to survive. But Ray, back to you. We were talking about the revenue enhancement measures. Let's talk about the growth prospects, because in my view, without growth in the economy and growth in revenue, we are even in more serious problems. The Prime Minister mentioned a set of opportunities. What is Labour's reaction to some of
We
those?
are undoubtedly, we will be overwhelmed by the sense of growth.
Yes.
I mean, it means vibrancy, it means elimination of poverty. If I may say, what the objective is in the labor movement is happiness for the entire workforce and the country. So if there are going to be programs designed for that, obviously we are really overjoyed. However, we want to be cautious, because clearly, you know, in the case of the hotels, you know, this is not a new concept. In fact, the Prime Minister, during his June 1995, right, if you read every budget statement that he has made, there will be the assurance that 3 or 4 hotels will be built. Mm-hmm. Now, the only hotel that was built between 1995 and now, it's La Sauce.
Yeah.
What's his name? La Sauce, Rickscal? No.
La Sauce.
It's the Sanders.
Sanders, yes,
that's right. So, really and truly, this is the only significant hotel that we have seen in 17 years. So we trust that that would be, we see it as the, you know, one of the key driving forces in the economy. We would have liked to see a lot more investment in agriculture, you know, the marketing side of it, what we can do. And to us also we would like to see some more, well, I don't know if it's private sector or government or whatever it is, but we are concerned that not enough is being done to create, let's put it more value to our nutmeg. We're still in a process of, you know, produce and sell. But I don't know that we can take any issue with the growth part of it, albeit, I mean,
Except to be cautious.
some may not.
Except to be cautious.
Exactly.
Because every Minister of Finance has listed projects
That's correct.
in the past few years, and very few of them have actually come on stream. The one little thing that I took away in that we actually saw this Egyptian gentleman.
Good.
All I know about him is what I saw on television.
And all I hear is filthy rich.
And I hear he's rich. I know nothing about the man,
I
but
myself.
one has to hope.
All I heard is a caustic what? Christian, whatever
Yes,
that means.
one has to hope that we will actually see
Right.
something, but I tend to be cautious with the listing of projects by any Minister of Finance. But what I was pleasantly surprised about in this area of growth is to see that we actually achieved a higher rate of growth, according to the Prime Minister, than was originally projected.
Well, that is clearly the source. I mean, if you
Yeah.
look at the docks,
Yeah.
the docks is busy, but I spoke to somebody there. and he
Most of
said-
it is the source stuff.
Yeah, but he said to me,
But
we,
wherever the growth is,
Much
it's
of it.
important that we do get growth.
correct.
He's projecting 2.7%, which I find is quite ambitious.
Well, I guess they would have done their analysis, and I would not question, you know, the competence of the workers there. I trust that it is reality. And,
Well, I questioned the one in the previous government, so I'm questioning the one in this government.
Well, you
If
are
we-
money man, eh?
If we get 2.7, I will be a very happy man. And it will show 1 point something this year and 2.7 next year.
Well, I,
I
don't
mean-
think next year looks like that as far as this.
Well, that is a
concerned.
projection for next year, I think.
No, you mean the 2.7?
Mm-hmm.
The 2.7 is this year?
No, no. Is it?
Yeah, this year.
Okay, but I read it
Yeah,
as
yeah.
1 point something this year, which was more than the projected amount, and 2.7. But I stand corrected.
Look, the projection for next year, according to the East Caribbean Central Bank, is that it? Yeah?
No, I was talking about the Prime Minister himself.
Okay.
Grenada, we don't have Grenada. Yes, Grenada, 1.25,
Yeah.
according to the Eastern Caribbean Central
Yeah,
Bank.
yeah.
But but what I'm getting at though is the importance of that growth element.
It is a positive.
We must have that. Without that,
It is positive. It sends a good message,
Yeah.
and you know, we certainly have to hope that Sandals really use their marketing skills and create because I mean, without doubt, their marketing skills are beyond the
Oh, yes.
entire
Oh, yes,
Grenada Tourism Authority.
it's created quite a buzz actually.
It is.
out there.
So this is a real positive for us. The one thing I would want to express a lot of concern about is the Imani program. $70 million being spent. I have a serious concern about that program. Not that I oppose it. I think the thought of it is good. But I want to give a perfect example. I lived down that side, so I saw about 70 or 80 young people in Montrouge, and I'm told they're training to become community coaches. And then I
Community coaches.
Yeah, and then I see people like yourself and me who would have played for Grenada. And I don't know that you and I are qualified to run standard courses that these young kids would be certified and be able to leave Grenada and go to Trinidad. And, you know, so that kind of thing bothers me. Then, you know, I have heard about...
You mean the certification?
Precisely.
They ensure that they have the required skills.
Precisely. Then I gave a number of them a drop a day, and someone, they want to be what? Teaching assistants. So I said, you know, what's your qualification? So and so. It doesn't sound to me like whoever is running this program are saying to these kids, this is a temporary thing. You have to head to TAMCC, St. George's University, or the University of the West Indies. They all have programs. I'm confused that some young people see this thing as a job, and in fact, they're on their way up. No, that is not going to happen in the real world. I mean, I can tell you that. I reached 70 credits and I didn't finish, and maybe that's one of the regrets in my life. But the point I'm making to the Minister of Youth, the Prime Minister, and everybody else, this thing has to be reshaped. It has to be both driven by a new law, a TAMCC, St. George's University, University of the West Indies. There must be programs that take these kids from where they are to a level of competence that they can, if they want to migrate, they migrate with skills that are universally recognized. You can't be taking people who self-made, yes, you may be a self-made person, to conduct classes, yes, for 3 months or 6 months or whatever it is.
So your concern is at the end of that, what happens to those?
No, I'm concerned with the quality of the human resources that are tutoring these kids. That's my
okay,
greatest concern,
okay.
because you can't have
And
80
whether they can get properly qualified to move on.
That is correct. That is correct. And you're spending $70 million. That's
Well, it's
not a
one of the
little bit money.
government's pet projects.
Yeah, but we
think
have
a
to
lot
be
about.
careful, because what we are creating is a group that tomorrow may not be able to help themselves.
Yeah.
When you look, let me put it this way, and I could boast. I like to see Uncle Gary. He had the public works. I can call, and I won't call their names here, at least 20 people who came out from there, and today are top electricians, working for big companies in Grenada, plumbers, and so forth. I'm told by my colleague Senator Chris Daly that Sandals could not find plumbers in Grenada.
Yeah, they couldn't. That's
right.
true. Yeah.
They couldn't find
Not only plumbers.
tiles.
Not only plumbers.
So that's what I'm saying. So to me, this program should be tied in with NULO, that maybe they begin to make school uniforms. If the government is spending $1 million in school uniforms, maybe we get people with the knowledge that could keep young people who are interested in being a seamstress, a tailor, they produce this. I know it sounds like a bit of socialism, but the point I'm making, the state is spending this money. So
but you want to make sure that at the end of the period, those people are at a certain standard.
Precisely, that Grenada by itself, look, there's one gentleman who lives by me, he's in the 70s. I never see him work for anybody. He's a plumber, and he's the only plumber in the village still, and I'm sure he's in his 70s. Who's the replacement? Now, when in the 70s in Granans, skills were
Yeah.
Plentiful. You want to be a
Not
mechanic?
anymore. Not
So I would want to see that program. You know, people like you who have banking knowledge and skills knowledge to help them make this program a better thing.
Let's touch on the other area in the budget. We touched on the revenue enhancement, talk about the possibility of growth. The control and reduction of expenses, which is extremely important.
I don't think that the government is disciplined enough.
You don't think that?
No, I think,
but what was announced to me sounds very good.
Well,
two aspects of it. One, the elimination of 100 jobs. I know very little about the civil service except when I get in there, I get very poor service. And number two, I think it is far too large for the size of the country. However, what you do about it is a much more difficult thing. If they're going to eliminate 100 jobs, I am happy.
Attrition, eh?
No. There are two things he said. One, there are some jobs there that have not been filled for a long time, and they're looking at elimination of 100 jobs. The second aspect was the attrition, where if 100 people leave, whether they retire or dismissed, etc., they're only hiring 30. So you have an attrition of 70%. Now, those two things on the surface of it, on paper, looks very good to me.
Well, the government came back with about 100 retirees already. People older than you. If they're young as me, perhaps they still have a chance.
So you're saying that the government has already brought in
But
retirees
back here, we can talk with the commissioner of prison, the commissioner of police. I mean, they're not 18-year-olds. And so, I mean, the leader of government, a negotiating team, you could find somebody in the Ministry of Finance for that. So I don't conceptualize this thing. To me, this is good hogwash, and I don't think this, in my opinion, if you want to chop the service, there are ways we can do it. To me, once politicians continue to behave as they are, whether it's this government or the next one to come or the one before, you check it.
But
the number's not going down.
No, it hasn't been. But I
away.
thought that given the crisis situation and the impact of the IMF, that we would have had some success in that area. Because the two mentioned programs are very useful. Now, of course, having a program and implementing it is another story. But what is on paper seems to me to be very good. And
Well, yeah,
the kind of things that is needed.
Theory is always wonderful to read. I love Shakespeare and I love Greek mythology. I love these things. I mean, they read wonderful. But I don't know that Grenada is a disciplined country. And our leaders have been really ill-disciplined.
Go right
I mean,
back,
there's no question about it. You look at the state of play, and it bothers me that clearly we're not lecturing ourselves as leaders and as a people on the do's and don'ts. We seem to do more, to me, create more problems for ourselves than really eliminate problems. I would want to see, Grenada achieve this target, and I want to compliment the government on a couple of things, because to me they have done some things. One, the social partners, the engagement of the Prime Minister. Somebody asked me, Ray, how you can give him an A? I say, I will give him an A. I'm not talking about the content. The fact that he stood with it for the 8 months and the 9 months, that is something to be admired. The next thing I would want to say that the fact that we have given him a monitoring mechanism for the program, I hope that is accepted.
That you mean between the government and the social partners?
Yeah, as well as what is being called the homegrown structural adjustment, because there are indicators, the attrition.
Yes.
We hope that there could be a documentation that there are 5,000 people in the workforce, 20 under 18, 40 are close to retirement. So we all know when you get there whether or not the government will replace you, do as they say. I want to commend them on these things. I think they have, the one thing I want to see too before we finish up, and to me the Prime Minister has to take responsibility for that. Now, I've been listening to the budget debate. All governments have left us with a litany of, bad projects and everything that, we wish we didn't have. Now, it seems to me every minister, when he gets up to speak, can point out that the last government didn't pay this, didn't pay that, didn't pay this. That is good for let's put it that, the less intelligent. Those who understand will know that the NNP would have squandered in excess of $250 billion, $250,000 million in all kind of projects that they make no sense. The NDC will have done their part. So let's just leave that apart, because you see, finally, what I'm trying to say, you are dividing the place.
Yeah.
So just let's ignore the mistakes of everybody, document it, and move on. But don't get up every time, who in pay Caribbean Bank, who in pay the courthouse, who in pay the United
Let me tell you an
Nations.
aspect of that I agree with what you're saying. And I said it last year when the NDC was government, and I'm saying this year. We spend far too much time listing and bemoaning and attacking the previous governments. And I wish we would stop that. You have to look back. You have to look back from the point of view of trying to make sure you don't make the same mistakes twice.
Correct.
But the way in which politicians spend hours in every opportunity they get to talk about the previous government is a waste of time. And maybe there's some political imperative in there that I don't understand. But it's a complete waste of time. What I want to hear, and I said it to the previous Minister of Finance, I'm saying it to the President, what are we doing over the current situation? What is our plan? Where we are going? I don't need to hear every time you open your mouth what somebody else didn't do.
Well, you said one thing to me before we started in the view outside, and I think it's a good way, maybe we can begin the new year with. Trinidad had a 20-year plan.
Yeah.
I know Chris Daly has called for that and others. Maybe the Prime Minister will do Grenada a world of good if he can get the opposition, whether they are out of Parliament or in Parliament, and consider something like that.
Even 5 years.
Yeah.
If they can consider a framework of where we want to be 5 years from now, so that each budget is a step towards getting where we want to be 5 years. There will be changes. Nothing remains static. There will be changes, there will be amendments, but the general direction and the general goals will be known by everyone, and I wish you can see that. I find that is missing from this budget. It is missing from all the other previous budgets, whether it's NDC or anybody. And there's a recommendation I put. Ray?
Well, I trust that you would push that concept a lot more, because to me, this is the best thing you could give to us for next year as a people.
Yeah. Ray, thank you very much.
My brother, God bless you.
And I look forward to speaking to you again.
I am delighted to have been your guest, and you are doing an excellent program, educating the minds financially, and I trust God gives you all the blessings in 2014.
Thank you very much, sir.
To achieve that. Thanks.
This is Business Files, and when we return, we would have with us businessman Keith Ashby.
Everyone knows the game on the island. The national lotteries have it going on. Just value your dreams, you'll win today. The game, as we know, is called Playway. It's daily Monday to Saturday, both evenings and midday is Playway. That is when the game play. Choose your numbers or your symbols from 1 to 36 to win. Playway. That is how the game play. Sack it and follow up. Just follow your dreams. Stick to your hunch. Bet from $1 to any amount to win Playway. The game of the day. Aired on GBN TV and radio. National Lotteries. Supporting sports, culture, and nation building.
At the Marketing and National Importing Board, our wide range of fruits and vegetables comes with the highest quality assurance from local farmers that we know and trust and have built a solid relationship with over the years. At the MNIB, we are confident that we are offering you the best option for healthy, tasty, and nutritious fruits and vegetables at the most competitive prices, produced right here in Grenada by our local farmers. We offer the widest range of locally made agro products like spices, sauces, jams and jellies, and confectionery, just to mention a few. The MNIB, looking after our nation's food and nutrition security, promoting healthy lifestyles and the development of the new economy.
Why wish upon a star? For a bank is better by far. Whatever you're wishing for this Christmas will give you low interest and no fuss. A new kitchen to cook in, Christmas wishes come true with Core Bank and you. Buy home your clothes and skin, Christmas wishes come true with Core Bank and you. Fix up your home real life. Core Bank, other people.
Get a Christmas loan from Co-op Bank.
Welcome home.
Business Files is brought to you by Fast Cash. Fast Cash, making it easy to access money to meet your immediate needs. Same day approval. Money in your hands within 2 hours from returning documents. Fast Cash, your money, your way. Serving you from Melville Street, St. George's, opposite the bus terminal, and Ben Jones Street, Grenville, upstairs Lime. Coming soon to Fast Cash. Fast Cash Biz. Smart loans for your business. Visit us on www.fastcash.dm.
Welcome back to Business Files. And our second guest on the program tonight is businessman Keith Ashby, well known for the several flea markets that he had introduced to the country. Keith, welcome to Business Files.
Welcome.
All right. We were just talking to Senator Ray Roberts with regard to the government. And we're curious now in getting your take on the government, on the budget that was recently presented by the Minister of Finance, Dr. Keith Mitchell. And I heard you mention before our discussion that you're concerned about the state of play for local businesses who you say are struggling. And what did the budget have in it, in your mind, or not having it, for the local business community?
What my concern is that as I have been doing the flea markets for many years now, what has happened is that there have been about 80 or so businesses that people that I have in my database, they are no longer in business.
I mean, they've gone out of business?
Gone out of business. And they now say to me, Mr. Ashby, I'm coming to, I'm going to taking my car. I was once a business person hiring people. Now I'm in Grenville in the flea market in the car park. Because
wait, let me see if I understand you correctly. These people had established businesses.
Established businesses.
In buildings.
In buildings, paying $10,000 a month.
Right.
And
now they are closed.
They're closed down.
And they're all selling out to the back of their car.
Back of the cars, yeah. And so the question is, and when I have spoken to most of them, they were saying that they needed professional assistance. Mm-hmm. If someone came and said, listen, you need to have an email, you need to go and have an e-commerce website, because nowadays you cannot do, we are growing for the 70s. We are now coming upon 2014, but we are still doing our business like how we used to do in the 70s when I was a rum shop.
So you're talking about business consulting,
yes,
hand-holding,
yes,
and providing them with guidance to move their business forward.
Yeah. And they said to me, 6 months ago, I knew I was going on there, but nobody came to my rescue.
These things cost money, though. I'm always concerned that they're not prepared to pay for it. I mean, a consultant costs money. And I'm not even talking about whether it's a high scale consultant or someone who's willing to take half the price. One of my issues with the Grenadian business community, and I'm a very strong advocate for the private sector, is that they want things free.
Yes, that's true.
And you're not going to get that sort of advice and counsel free.
Yes.
And I'm concerned that they're not prepared to pay for it. I agree with you fully that a lot of our small businesses need some
They need some consult. And they need to ask for help. I did a program whereby we were offering them an e-commerce site so that they're just going to have a presence on the web. And most people said, well, what am I doing on the web? I have a little business. But there was a lady who took advantage of that. She does tambourine balls. And her business boomed because once people were ordering tambourine balls from the States. And she was able now to grow a nice little business from out of her home.
So she was actually exporting it?
Yes, exporting her tambourine ball because people were...
Well, what would you suggest? How you were concerned about the government and the government's role or lack of role in this area. What would you suggest?
My suggestion is that we have to be mindful of our local business. I mean, everybody wants foreign investors, but we are people who are here already. And in many cases, I've had business partners who came on and they said, I want to do business in Grenada, but it's very difficult for me. I came with $200,000. I got a structure, the rents are high. Before I opened the NIS and the unions, everybody were down on me. I never got the breathing space that foreign investors get. They're getting a chance, you know, for concessions and an opportunity.
Well, the foreign investor gets concessions, but he still has to deal with the NIS and the
Yeah,
unions
but
and everything else.
the local guy gets nothing.
Yes.
And then
So you're talking about concessions for local business
local
people.
businesses. They're saying, help us. Because they see the other guys come and say, gee, maybe I need to come in as a foreigner so I get the opportunity. But because they come in and they start up the businesses and then,
So you're talking about the Grenadian entrepreneur,
yes,
in your mind, not getting enough assistance and not getting enough breathing room.
yes.
But on the face of the NIS, I won't agree with you. The NIS has to come.
Yeah, but
And the unions, I mean, they have a right to be there. But but as far as concessions are concerned,
yes, yeah.
okay.
So that's usually one of the challenges that they have.
So you were hoping to see something in the budget that addressed that?
Addressed it because we have to say, where is these ADSO businesses that disappeared? What happened to these people to sort of do a follow-up and find out, you know, because many times they are persons who are in their 50s, 60s, I mean, and they have been business people for 20, 30 years, and they just fell off the face of the earth. And they have mortgages, and they have it has impacted the loans, their homes are up for, you know, in foreclosure, for sale and stuff like that. So there's an economic impact for these people.
Oh yes, yes. If you have 80 businesses going out of over a period of about 4 or 5 years,
Yes.
that has an economic. The government has started a small business development program, loans for small business, actually for micro,
Yes.
which seems to be going quite well.
I heard that's booming. I
Yeah.
heard I heard from some people there's a lot of applications.
Yeah, a lot of applications, a lot of pending application. I think that first million is almost up.
They're gone, yes.
But what you really getting at though is the next step.
The next step.
To help them to build. Getting the money is one thing. To help them to build.
Principles of business.
Yeah, to move that business from a micro
From point
business
A
to
to right. Point A. Principles of business. What do you do for the first? When you go to business school, the first thing they tell you is that for the first 6 months, you know, first you have to put a salary. You don't just go in the drawer and start paying all your bills. You have to at least give the business 6 months to survive on it. You reinvest in it. Sometimes in a lot of cases it have to be about a year. So you don't, because you have a business, there's no recording. You just don't go in the drawer and start.
Well, you're talking about my pet. It's one of my pet subjects. Actually, the statistics are pretty terrible. 20% of businesses fail in the first year,
Yes.
and 80% in the first 3 years.
Yeah.
And a significant part of that reason is exactly what you're talking about, which is the hand-holding and the guidance,
Principles of
etc.
business,
Yeah,
the
yeah.
basics, and then that's why I'm saying that we need a certain. I mean, and there's professionals in the ministries that they can work with the businesses.
But they're
the
professionals outside.
outside, and they're professionals in the bank because, for example, for the loans that have been given, I mean, they have to say, okay, well, there must be some sort of what we call accountability. There must be something in there whereby you said, okay, give me your business plan, and here are the target dates. Here are the certain benchmarks. There you have to do this. Are you following this? Just like it's this, what the government is going through with the IMF. The same thing is going on with businesses. You know that they have to be benchmarked.
But to get back to what you were saying earlier on, you really expected the government to say something or to address that particular issue.
That, yes, because there's a major concern. There's a lot of people who are, and next year, there's some people who says, I know of a few people, I can't call their names, who are, the lease end expires this month, and they say, I'm not.
They're not reopening.
They're not reopening.
Yeah, okay.
So there are going to be some additional business people who have been in business for 20, 30 years who are saying.
Well, it's been a very bad 4 years, eh? It has been- and if you listen to the budget, you're looking at least 3 years
Yes.
of a similar situation.
Yes.
And the only thing that will take us out of that, of course, is if the growth that the Prime Minister is talking about is achieved.
Yes. Yes, definitely. So, but also too, I think there's an opportunity for us to sort of talk about going big. A lot of our projects are sort of small. We are doing a lot. We're thinking sort of
We're a small country.
Yeah, but we got we have to be visionary. We have to think about some big ones. We have to kind of. It's nice in cricket, you know, like you hit
a six.
But
But the Prime Minister is talking about four 5-star hotels in Greenwich Beach. I mean, that's big thinking.
Yes.
If it comes true.
But that's in one sector, the
Yeah.
tourism sector.
Yeah.
We have, for example, one of the things I've always thought about is that construction and agriculture should be merged. Do you know that most of the
Construction and agriculture.
should be almost the same?
Why?
Because a guy would take his big tractor and climb up a 1,600 feet hill to build a house, and then he drives it down. Yet, our farmers are using cutlass. So there's something.
You mean we have to modernize agriculture?
But we can bridge it, because the same guy who can take this tractor and go up 1,600 feet can use that same tractor to clean out a plot of land instead of a guy breaking his back with a weed eater. And a tractor can clear 2 acres in a day, and then therefore you can do the planting. So there must be a nexus between the two. They're no different. Why? And then this guy puts his big tractor back in his yard, and then the farmer is breaking his back. So there must be a connection between the two.
We're coming to the end of the segment, but I know you have a new.
Yes. Oh, by the way, I'm having a phenomenal event. We have it on Thursday, next week Thursday.
Thursday the what?
The 19th.
Where?
At the Tantine Netball Court.
And exactly what it is you're having?
We're having a massive Christmas sale.
Who is having it?
It is KAW and the Grenada Netball Association. This massive Christmas sale. Everything must go.
What would you be selling?
So
it's not the usual flea market that you have been putting on?
Yes, there is the usual flea market. But the agenda this time is like we have 80% off. We have some business people are saying, name your own price.
What time it starts?
It begins at 8 a.m. and it goes until 8 p.m. because there's the system.
How many businesses you have?
We're expecting about 40 businesses. Yeah, and cooperative banks, there's Southern Electric, a lot of companies that are going to be there. It's going to be a real great opportunity. It's what you call the little guy who is under the threshold, the 3,000 threshold. We want
You're
you
targeting him.
Yeah, so that you can get something for you.
Let's make sure that the viewing public knows this. Next week Thursday.
Next week Thursday.
It's at the Tantine
Netball Hall Court.
It's a flea market.
It's a flea market.
You have over 40 businesses there.
40 businesses are going to be there.
Right, and it's from 8
8 a.m. Yeah, it's a weekday. It's a Thursday. It's Thursday the 19th. And also, I can you can reach me at 449-6861. You can also reach me at 443-3564.
In addition to wishing you all the best for next week Thursday, we also at Business Files want to welcome you on board as the consultant and marketing consultant.
Yes.
For Business Files. And welcome to us.
Yes. I will be doing a lot of contacting most of the businesses with Business Files. So I'm hoping that we will be really a great team.
Let's grow together.
We're going to grow together, man. We're going to be a
right.
good team. We're going to be a dynamic team. I'm really looking forward to this opportunity to work with you at Business Files.
All the best
once
for the
again,
season.
and thanks a lot.
All right.
Okay, take care.
Take care.
Bye-bye.
We just heard the Prime Minister and Minister of Finance present his budget for 2014. Unfortunately, he was not able to attend the budget presentation, and I am still reading the document. I hope to finish it over the weekend. But my first thoughts on what I heard so far is, as the Prime Minister himself said, pain and sacrifice for the next 3 years. My biggest concern is that we go through this period of pain and sacrifice for the next 3 years, and at the end of the 3 years, don't see the benefits of what it is we have earned as a people as a result of having gone through 3 years of pain and gain. The budget seemed to have focused on enhancing revenue measures on the one hand, and that is what everyone is talking about with regard to the taxes. On the other hand, growth in the economy, which the Prime Minister seems fairly confident of achieving. And thirdly, containing and controlling expenses. Those three nexuses seems to be one of the focuses of the Prime Minister's speech. The pain and gain we understand. We are hoping that on the other hand, the gains and the growth in the economy that the Prime Minister spoke about will indeed be achieved. My concern on that end is that I have not seen a proper framework for this growth that the Prime Minister is talking about. There are some pointers within the budget with regard to the growth, but we're not seeing a proper framework and an end game as to exactly how, within that framework, the growth in the economy will be achieved. And I urge the Prime Minister to try and make sure that that framework is developed so that we as a people know exactly what it is we're expecting and where we expect to be in 2000 at the end of the 3 years. I hope to be in a better position to speak more about the budget in our program next week. Goodbye.